Hey there, my name is Adam Quiney, and this video is an introduction to the Acknowledgement Challenge that I'm putting out there for anyone that wants to play it. So I'm going to talk about kind of the roughly the what of acknowledgement first, and then I'm going to lay out why you might want to do this, why you would take on this practice, and then finally we'll go through how to acknowledge people, and then finish up with some a little bit of structure to support you. So acknowledgement is not compliments, it's not flattery, it's ultimately an act of acknowledging someone for the greatness that we see over there. And we as humans tend to suck at this because we look for what people do as opposed to who they actually are. And we look for like a reason to acknowledge someone. So we give love conditionally as opposed to unconditionally. When we're really acknowledging someone for their greatness, the person that they are, it's really an act of just giving love. The reason you might acknowledge someone is because most of us suck at giving love to people, and we also suck at receiving love. And you'll notice this show up as you practice this, if you take on this challenge, and as you receive acknowledgement, you'll notice you get squirrely. You probably have ways that you avoid it or try to shift around or don't feel comfortable with it. This practice is there to serve you in moving past that. And ultimately, being able to provide and receive love is a crucial part of being a leader. It doesn't matter how powerful you are. If you bring that power without any love for someone, it shows up as mere brutality. And yeah, you can make stuff happen. You can build the pyramids with that kind of leadership. You can achieve a lot, but most of us don't actually want to lead from that place. We'd rather, if you go on LinkedIn and look up leadership definitions, you'll just see constantly memes posted of like management, leadership, blah, 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 blah. There's actually a practice that will support you in developing your leadership and being better able to do so from love. And if you can practice that, you will actually become more effective at leading as a powerful leader. The more love you can provide, the more power you can provide, because people will get that it's coming from a place of love and they'll actually open to your leadership. So that's really the key reason to practice this, is to better be able to lead in your life. Leadership doesn't require that you be the CEO of a company or anything like that. It can be leading just in your personal life. So here's how you acknowledge someone, is you sit and you get quiet for a sec and you really check in with them and you ask yourself, what do I feel? What do I get about this person? Not about what they did, like great job on that TPS report. That's not kind of acknowledgement we're talking about. We're talking about really getting present to someone and seeing what shows up for me. Who is this person at their core? Maybe you are someone, as you're looking with this person you want to acknowledge, you feel like, wow, there's a lot of wisdom there, or a lot of connection, or love, or generosity, or spirituality, or divinity. There's no right answer to this, which is part of what's so beautiful. And you're going to see them through yourself. You're going to see what you see to acknowledge will actually be a function of what you are in the world, which is kind of cool because you get a bit of insight into yourself in this process. The most important part about this is that you trust your intuition. A lot of people tell me, well, Adam, this is all made up. How do I feel like I'm just bullshitting. I'm just coming up with this shit on the fly. And so therefore, and the truth is, yes, it is. Yes, it is all made up. And often our intuition, the deepest places of our intuition can feel that way. There's no objective truth to whether this person that you have chosen to acknowledge actually is connection, whatever that means. It's purely the experience you get in being with them. So really the key parts are acknowledge someone for their being as opposed to what they are doing or what they've done. 2, do not use acknowledgement as a way of trying to get them to do something. Like, hey, Sarah, I really acknowledge you for your connection. And I think if you just, stopped trying to impress people so much and were willing to just connect with them, you'd really I think you'd really take off. That's shitty acknowledgement. Don't do that. That's very stingy and backhanded. And that tends to be the way we give love, right? And that's consequently how we receive it, because someone tells us something lovely about ourselves and we're like, when's the pile of shit gonna hit me in the face? I know there's a shit sandwich coming my way. Don't do that. So 2, do not use this as a way to try to point out flaws or criticisms or anything. Acknowledgement is truly an act of giving unconditional love. This is the greatness I see in you, and I want to speak to that. And third, trust your intuition. Trust that what you see and feel is worth acknowledging and that you can do it. So it might look like something like this. Let me think of someone that I'm going to use. Okay, great. I've got someone in mind. So I hold them in mind and I just think like, who is this person? And I might say, Leslie, I really want to acknowledge you for your beauty and your radiance. You know, one of the things I love about you is how you come into a room and you light that room up. It's amazing. You know, I could put you in any room, any group of people, even any project. I'm willing to bet if I put you on a project that like it would have a nice, the final dossier that you produced would have this really beautiful radiant color to it or something like that. It would not just be a boring Helvetica fonted kind of document that you delivered as a result of that project. I also want to acknowledge you for your femininity and your connection and your devotion. I really get that you really care deeply about people, and you really, when you say you want to do something, it's like you care more deeply than most people on this planet do. You really commit and lean into that, and it matters greatly to you. Thank you. Thank you for being those things and letting me be present to those. And that's it. Nothing more complicated than that. I'm just making these words up as I go, as I hold Leslie in my mind. And there's nothing really, it doesn't have to be fancier than that. There's no right way to do it. You're going to have all kinds of judgments as you're going through this process. And I invite you to notice those judgments and just sort of like, hey, that's what shows up when I try to give love unconditionally. I'm going to give a shout out to Accomplishment Coaching, the coach training program I went through and then later led for a number of years. This sort of act of acknowledgement originally comes from them, and they are masterful in training people in this and really just teaching people the value of this. And if you go in the comments below, you're going to see there's a link to this cool tracker that I've put together to support you in acknowledging people if that's what you want to do. And you can even see down the side here, we've got some cool ranks. So you can see if you can get to the rank of Master or Emperor, Archmage. And if you get to 21, if you hit that streak, you get to be a Warrior of Love, which is the highest. And then I've also got some questions at the bottom to help you notice what shows up for you when people are doing this, to kind of catch sight of like, oh wow, got it. That's a place for me to look and to see how I am about love. There's a lot more that I can say about this, but I think ultimately this is a practice best taken on and experienced rather than me just talking at end. This has already been a long enough video. So I invite you to take on the 21-day acknowledgement challenge, to practice acknowledging someone every day for 21 days and just notice what happens. Notice what shows up both in yourself, in them. What does it say about how you receive love? What does it say about how you give love? And then maybe take a look and see, wow, where else does that show up in my life? Am I the same way with my partner? Am I weird about giving love, or do I squirm when they give it to me? All right. Thanks for playing, and I'm looking forward to hearing how you do.